just like, is this too much advertising in your face? Because a lot of this is like escaping from traditional. Like the people that play Roblox are expecting either what they've known growing up on the platform or wanting to escape everything that's off the platform. So they come here for a specific reason, and it is to escape tradition.
Welcome to Brands in Play, the podcast where we explore immersive marketing and the people who are leading it. I'm Albane Prioux, Insights and Partnership Director at Geek.
And I'm Nick Hill, co-founder and Chief Innovation Officer at Sawhorse.
This week on the show, we discuss Dress to Impress partnership with Twitch. Squid Game is all over UGC platform, Fortnite and Roblox. There's also a new mode on Fortnite tailored to mobile games, so very interesting signals coming from them.
And we'll be playing the new universal game How to Train Your Dragon on Roblox, made by Sawhorse. Then we'll speak with my friend and colleague Gino Roy, art director at the company, and the visual mind behind the game How to Train Your Dragon. Don't forget to review and join the conversation with hashtag Brands in Play. So let's dive in.
Let's go. Hello, Nick. Episode 20. How are you?
20 episodes. I'm good. How was your week?
Yeah, very good. A very usual week in London. I did wanted to talk briefly about a recent article that McKinsey has shared on the attention equation that I really recommend anyone that I think is in the industry to read. It's a really interesting piece around how to measure the value of attention and the monetary value of attention. And obviously, gaming was painting in a very interesting light. I'm not going to put it in the news section, but just wanted to give a big note for anyone that is in the industry. I think that was like my highlights of this week was this really beautiful piece that they created. And that what was really interesting is that while, gaming is capturing 7% of people's attention in terms of consumption time, the amount of revenue that this platform generates is 12%. So a 1.7 multiplier compared to social media. So showing again the value that people are getting within this platform. So it was a really interesting piece. That was my highlights last week.
Yeah, I feel like we already know this, but it's nice when
exactly.
it gets validated in these studies, right?
Really interesting for McKinsey to do that. And I just thought it was really, they're obviously comparing with many different media, not just gaming, there's social media, there's even concert, festival, there's like any kind of touch points that brands can essentially leverage. And I thought that was a really interesting piece that they've done. So I recommend reading it for sure.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
How was your week?
It was great. I had two things to chat about. One, super excited. We launched our game Yeet Yourself on the Meta Horizon Worlds.
Oh, congrats.
Thank you. Yeah, that was the first time we've built on the platform. So excited about that and curious to see how that will perform and how the platform will continue to grow. And the other thing that's interesting is obviously last week there was the big Cannes Lions Festival in France. And how are you supposed to say that word? Is it Cannes or Cannes or Cannes?
Can is
Can, right? It's so simple. It's just like a can.
Yeah.
Yeah. People need to know that. But lots of winners, congrats to everyone who showed up. The gang won an award for their IKEA experience on Roblox.
Yes.
I thought that was cool.
Yep.
Also, the Fazuka won. So congrats to Phil and Stu from BBH, which was awesome. And WPP won Creative Company of the Year. And Publicis won the Agency of the Year.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts? Have you ever been to Cannes before?
No, I feel like it's not too much this scene that I go into. I'm more interested on developer gaming conferences, so less my realm, but definitely Geek has been in the past before, more from like a marketing point of view.
Yeah, well, I want to go next year.
Yeah,
but
you should. It's a beautiful part of the world, so why not?
And I feel like people take meetings on yachts.
Yes.
I like any party that'll get me on a yacht. You know what I mean?
Guys,
All right.
I love the swag.
Should we jump to the news?
Let's go to the news.
Let's go.
Okay, so the first piece of news that I wanted to discuss on today's episode was Dress to Impress partnering with Twitch. As of today, they have 7.3 billion visits, so a really large game that gained huge traction last year and still this year from not only the Roblox community, but also attracted non-Roblox players to the platform. And they've been like notoriously really strict and selective about who they do partnership with. So the last partnership and only partnership to date was with Charlie XCX. And I thought it was really interesting to see a social platform like Twitch, very smart from them to partner with large games like Dress to Impress. The model that they had was essentially anyone that watched Dress to Impress content through Twitch was able to unlock UGC within the game. So I thought that was like really smart as an acquisition strategy. I think notoriously we know that YouTube and TikTok is where most of the video game content is happening on Roblox. And I think Twitch is obviously seeing that they're currently not capturing that audience on their platform and they're more catered to a AAA game audience or a Fortnite game. So I thought that was really, really smart from them to think about what is going to be our Roblox strategy if for now not the platform is currently not used to be able to consume that kind of content. So I think I'm before I like I'm keen to hear your thoughts, Nick, but I think the only thing I was thinking about when I saw this was what is going to be the next strategy after this, because it's one thing to have a partnership with Dress to Impress, but how do you make sure that you capture this new audience and they have other kind of content that they want to consume? But what was your opinion on this?
I think it's a smart move. I mean, it's no secret that on these social platforms, these social video platforms, there's a ton of content from these gaming platforms. So, all of the recordings and all of the streams from people playing on those platforms ends up on platforms like Twitch and YouTube. And it hardly ever is any connectivity. There's no through line there. It's just two different platforms, but the same media. So I think it's really smart for Twitch to do this, and I think that more video sites should be finding ways to connect with the UGC gaming sites so that you can verify participation on both. It's like a missed opportunity if you don't, because it's happening already.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's just really smart of them because right now Roblox is not really a stream game on Twitch. So they really need to have a strategy on how they're going to attract Gen Z onto their platform. And Roblox is obviously the game that they want to watch content from. So a very strategic move from Twitch. And I'm just excited to see how they're going to continue to attract influencers to stream Roblox content, but also more of that community on their platform and compete against TikTok and YouTube.
Yeah, totally agree. I think we're going to see a lot more of it in the future. So my story is all about Fortnite's new game mode, Blitz Royale, that came to the platform recently, and it's dominated all the attention on the platform. So this is one of the first times where there was more traffic on and users all at the same time playing this mode versus the traditional battle royale mode that kind of, gobbles up the majority of attention all the time. So this new mode, Blitz Royale, is designed with mobile first. And so it's got shorter matches, you can power up faster, the maps are smaller, building is disabled, and there's an in-game leveling system that it gives you weapons easier. So it's all designed for mobile first. And I think this is in relation to the App Store opening up and having more iPhone users downloading and playing the game. And yeah, it's just exciting to see. And I think that, my take on it essentially is that I love these UGC gaming platforms because they're so malleable. They're always changing. They're always capitalizing on trends and they're always shifting and staying relevant, staying alive. So I think it's just a great example of that. You could see a world where this takes over and Battle Royale is less important. Or you can even see a world, as we talked about a couple weeks ago, of, a creator island, getting so popular that it takes over the other side. So, I think it's rare when you see massive platforms have that type of freedom and open ability to shift user attention. What did you think about this?
I thought it was really good. Like I think the them coming back to mobile, the question was going to be how they were going to adapt their content to be adapted to a mobile user. And we're already seeing it in the data where, this new mode now has a session time that is ranging 3 minutes compared to Battle Royale that's still 12 minutes. So I think it's very smart for them. And they're showing essentially the developer community that with now a user base that is going to be on mobile, they really need to think about, and something that we'll speak to Gino about, is how do you start catering your experiences, your islands to a mobile users that has a short like short session time, several frequencies. And I think they're always like, that's what Fortnite always does. They're leading by example to show the developers what they should do. And it's really exciting that they are already getting so much traction on it. And not only that, but they are acquiring new users through that. So the users are playing this new mode. So again, it's very smart from Fortnite. And I'm just excited to see, as you said, more developers creating mobile first experiences on the platform. That's going to really shift the appeal that Fortnite Creative is going to have.
Yeah, that's a great point. Just, really double down on the concept of mobile first.
Yeah,
As more and more of these games are available across so many platforms,
that's right.
these massive chunks of the audience, they are on mobile devices.
Yeah, and
So,
you need to really think about that, like that short section. It has to be something that you can do in the tube, in the bus, like something really short and like snackable content. And this is great for them to have done that. And more developers need to start thinking about that.
and it has to be optimized.
Uh, yeah,
You can't
absolutely,
do super heavy graphics. You've got to figure out like the lowest common denominator. And I
absolutely.
think that's a challenge for a lot of
Yeah,
developers.
yeah, yeah. We'll grill Gino today on this and how to tailor it to that platform. The next piece of news that I have is the new experiences from Squid Game that was developed by the gang. We've seen Squid Game IP all throughout on virtual worlds recently. So they've done, obviously Netflix has done their IP partnership with Fortnite. They're now releasing their experience on Roblox. And I thought that was really interesting because, if we look back a little bit on the schedule that they had with this IP, so we had to wait quite a long time. So 2021 was when the first season came out. We had to wait last year to get the second season. Surprisingly, although the feedback was mitigated, the viewership was actually higher than the first season, so great. But then they're already building up on like this third season that I had no idea it was coming up this week. So the third season of Squid Game is coming up this week. So it's no reason, like, this is why they have such a strong marketing strategy that relies on virtual worlds. And this is why they're now on Roblox and now on Fortnite, to really get Gen Z to play with the game, play with the IP in the lead up to this new release that's happening this week. And maybe it's because I'm in that virtual world bubble, but I haven't seen anything around the IP outside of gaming platforms. So I was just really interesting. And I think it just shows that for entertainment IP, they really need to like leverage those platform, because it's a quicker and more efficient way than creating a AAA game, which normally would have in the launch of a large IP like Squid Game. I think we all remember Harry Potter launching their game. That's always been, I think, the strategy, but virtual worlds are really providing a quicker and more efficient way to be able to have that similar momentum. But what was your thoughts as well on this? Were you aware that the third season was coming out?
Only because of the news that I heard on the UGC gaming
Right.
platforms, like on Roblox. I was like, "Oh, cool! So season 3 is coming out." I didn't see a trailer for it.
Any trailers on YouTube. I didn't get any influencers to talk about it. Like, even like billboards. I didn't see anything like
That's a good point. Um,
anywhere else.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is really valuable. I mean, this is essentially what we're doing here. What they're doing is they're using UGC as a marketing channel
Absolutely.
for the new IP that's coming out. And what's interesting here is that there's a sort of a balance, because there's tons of unofficial games that are made by the UGC gaming community that are slapping the Squid Game IP on it right now because they know that everyone's talking about Squid Game. So it'll get you a bunch of users, and that's unofficial. Meanwhile, Netflix did sanction the gang to build their own
Yeah.
official world on Roblox and get all of that traffic. You kind of have to do both. If you look at it from like a marketing machine, why would you just want your sanctioned one? It's more valuable to have all of these unofficial titles pop up.
Yeah. I
You can't officially like back them,
Yeah.
but it's not hurting. It's definitely helping to drive
I
awareness
mean,
and traffic,
that
right?
was is this is such a good point, because they really did the two strategy on Fortnite. They didn't create their own island. They licensed essentially their IP the same way as Lego has done it, and Turtle Ninja has done it, where the creators can essentially utilize that IP to create their own game. And then you're right, on Roblox they decided to own that well. So quite like two different strategies, but again, it just shows that there's not just one platform. If you really want to have momentum around the release of an IP or launch if you're a brand, you really need to be on several places at the same time. And there's not one platform that is like better than another. I think it's just complementary. So really interesting. And I'm excited to see the third season. It's like the gift that keeps on giving. I thought we would have to wait 2 years before the next season. So I was really excited to see that they've already shot it. It's perfect.
Yep, I'm ready. I was on a cliffhanger last time, so I'm ready to dive back in. Speaking of IP inside of gaming, I think let's jump to our real-time review. We're going to check out How to Train Your Dragon on Roblox. And then after that, we're going to chat with Gino Roy, the art director that brought it to life. So
Perfect.
let's dive in.
Let's dive in. Okay, so we have arrived in the Train Your Dragon experience.
So we should note that what Albane is doing right now is a recreation of the classic scene in the film where the main character meets Toothless for the first time and actually tames him with a fish. So
Yes.
we're recreating that with Albane's avatar.
And then this is exactly the iconic scene where you can touch. Oh, this is so cute. And again, like this is such a nice experience. So what I had to do, I don't know if you remember the scene, the introduction scene where the character touches for the first time Toothless, and what you do is recreate that where with the user you have to like essentially caress and like navigate your mouse so that you recreate that movement again. So really smart to recreate this iconic scene. So I am now, ready to leave the cove.
Nice. So you've bonded with Toothless, and now you can ride him.
Yes, I'm so excited. Okay, so I've just done that. Yay me for managing to go through 4 circles. But
Congrats.
opening
That's some skill.
welcome with like this incredible visual of the all like scenery of the mountains. The scene is just absolutely crazy. And there is a new crest that is way for us. And okay, so this is I guess the hub where you can see the new trailer of their live action movie. So again, a really clever way for you to promote the full like film. And this is where Nick is. I can see you.
Hello.
I need some dismounts. There you go. This is gonna be easier. A Toothless is hungry and needs to like dive and get some fish.
Yeah, that is one thing people love doing is feeding their dragon. Do you want to give it a shot, Albane?
Yeah, let's do that. So I'm discovering the whole environment, and the first thing that is impromptu to me is that obviously Toothless is a hungry little dragon, so I've got to take care of them, and we need to go fishing. So I just go straight down to the music.
There it is.
Right. So this is really cool. Like this is so, and again, like my God, the visuals that you have on Toothless is pretty and crazy. I haven't seen like that level of quality in a game. So I'm goes down. Oh, okay.
Did you get one?
I got a fish.
There you go.
I think
He needs to feed.
Oh, and now she feels lonely. Okay, so I really need to start taking care of her a bit better. Is Toothless? Is it he, her? Do they have like...
I think he's a he.
He's a he. Okay, so I need to learn you now.
Yes.
Let me go back lunch. I mean, this feels really like a TX people game, and I think this is what we were talking about, Nick, where, well, before there used to be entertainment IP that would do a massive AAA game, you can now have so much degree of, like a level of narratives that you can develop within Roblox that really feels like a AAA games where you have quests, you got progressions, there's a full, very immersive storyline. So it is really impressive to see like the level of like gameplay that you now can have on platform like Roblox.
Yeah, absolutely. And also the speed at which you can create this stuff is super fast on a platform like Roblox.
Exactly.
Which is new. Yeah, and we can head over to the docks to check out the free UGC that was available. We have these helmets.
Perfect.
And this cape. It's all sold out. It all went pretty fast.
Yeah.
And then also down here, toothless hat. But we have one more item that's coming in about a week, and that is the toothless wings and tail, as you can see here, floating. And a lot of people want to get that. Yeah, I mean, I just love how immersive this is. Like, if you're a fan of the IP and you want to go, beyond just like watching um, a film, you can now jump inside and, role play and
Yeah.
be in this world. And
Mm.
as you can see, like the quality and the art fidelity is so high. It's, that level of immersion is awesome.
Absolutely. I also something that I think is a little note that I think I often get frustrated by other games is that I'm really happy that I still have my avatar. Where I think sometimes you do get a avatar that fits better with the overall environment, and that's a little bit frustrating when you put so much time on customizing your avatar. What you want to do is being able to get those like get that experience but still with your avatar. So I really appreciated that there was a bit of a consensus to allow us to keep our avatars but still being fully immersed into this environment. I also think the avatar has had a bit of a redesign on like the level of fidelity that you do get on it. So really cool again from this experience.
Yeah, I agree, and that's one fun thing about UGC culture is that, yeah, this is a full like, everything about this world, every detail is true to the lore and the IP, but you can come it as you are. As when you spawn in, you're not kind of, morphed into a Viking. You can come in
Exactly.
whatever form your character is, and it's embraced, which I
Because
think is
that
really
could have
unique and
been
cool.
and something to talk about with Gino, where it could have been the brief from the studio where they would have wanted to have the character being at the forefront as well of the experience. But I thought what was really cool is that you can essentially live that but through your own avatar without having to like make any like consensus on this.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've checked it out. We've seen the game. We've played a little bit. I think it'd be great to go chat with Gino, the art director, to get his point of view on what it was like to bring this world to life.
Absolutely. Let's dive into the interview.
Okay, let's go. I'm excited for this interview with my friend and colleague Gino Roy, art director at Sawhorse. I like to describe Gino as a creative genius. He's a director, editor, visual effects artist, animator, and now one of the top visual artists on the Roblox platform. He can pretty much do anything. His Roblox projects like Beetlejuice, Wicked, and Kung Fu Panda have all won numerous awards, and his most recent project, How to Train Your Dragon, that we just played, has become a hit on Roblox. I've had the pleasure to work with Gino for over 10 years. And Albane and I worked with him directly on Tommy Play, which was Tommy Hilfiger's experience on Roblox. So we're super lucky to have him here today. Gino, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. This is really exciting. Can't wait.
Really
We're lucky to have you.
yeah.
But before we jump in, I just wanted to say a quick story. Day one at Sawhorse, do you remember this? 10 years ago.
Yeah.
We brought you in as a freelancer to do art and edit for a Vanity Fair video. It was the
Right.
improv imagination episode for Better Call Saul with Ray Seahorn. And it was supposed to be like a 4-hour shoot, but I think we stayed there almost all night. It was kind of intense for your first day at Sawhorse, but I guess my question is, why did you stay with the company after that madness?
It was a rude awakening, but it was also a great taste of it kind of symbolized everything I was going to be doing for the next 10 years. So I had to be able to shift gears really hard and also put my best step forward no matter what I'm working on. But
Yeah,
yeah,
well,
that was an intense day. And I was just sort of like, okay, let's go for it.
Yeah, you brought the noise, and I think I knew on day one, I was like, "Wow, this guy is extremely talented, and he's got a great attitude, and we're gonna make some cool stuff." I didn't realize we'd still be working together 10 years later, but I'm honored that I get to share this work with you. But my first question, so you've had an interesting career as a creative. You've worked, like I said, in film and music video, animation, digital, now Roblox and gaming. Tell us what that transition was like when you kind of worked on your first Roblox project. I mean, that's a totally different mindset, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm used to transitions and like I never really had a clear picture of what I wanted to do with my career. I always wanted to do animated films when I was older. I was like, that's what I'm gonna do. That's the place I'm looking for. I wanted to work for a Pixar or something in like stop motion animation. That was something that really spoke to me. And while I was doing that, I realized that I really love building little sets. I love building like worlds, like small little worlds. And that really helped me with this transition because I could put all of the talent and understanding I have of filmmaking and building a storyline and creating a world to use in every single part of that. And it all kind of like makes sense that I'm here, but I never thought in a million years I'd be working on Roblox.
And I love that, and I think it's really funny how like immersive marketing has evolved over the last 10 years. And you've obviously worked with many different brands and different sector within your career. I'm really interested with now the rise of entertainment IP, and you've worked on so many entertainment experiences on Roblox. How I guess do you help them think a little bit differently around interactive brand storytelling compared to, they'll probably use more to like a linear storyline on how to tell their movies and how to market it. How I guess on your side, when you're pitching a creative idea or a concept to them, how has that evolved over the years for you to be able to get essentially success and understanding on their way of how they should engage on these platforms?
Well, I think it is what it is really with my experience. I am thinking differently because am thinking about this through a film lens. And how would I approach this, building a set for stop motion, or how would I approach this and, doing a music video? And I have all of these points of view that aren't traditional in the way that people are looking at it when they're building traditional promotional items on Roblox or any gaming platform. So I think it's quite natural that I'm thinking differently, but I think it does help me. It's a big advantage.
I want to talk a little bit about the technical side of 3D art. So, like when you do 3D art and visual effects in the film world, it doesn't have to be performant. You can use render farms, all this massive machinery. You export out or render out one video clip, and then the video just plays, right? But like when you think about gaming, you make 3D art. It's actually running in real time, so it has to perform. So it's like you have to make it look amazing, but it has to be micro fraction of a size. And I feel like what you guys did on How to Train Your Dragon on Roblox is an amazing example of how you can take this optimization to the next level where you can make things look amazing, but they still perform well across all these low end devices. What is that like as an artist? I imagine it's like your wings are clipped almost.
Not not clipped as much as like you have to learn what works and what doesn't work. When you're making stuff for film, it's just like let's get all the firepower we have, together to make this amazing thing no matter what it takes. But when you're focusing on making something performant, it's just a lot of things you have to learn along the way. It's not something that's just like, here's a book of all the rules that you need to do to like make this something that can be played on any device ever. And that is something that we were trying to focus on, especially for How to Train Your Dragon. Making a game that was performant is super. That was like the critical focus of this one because we've made beautiful things in the past, and we've hit a lot of walls with the playability of our games, and it looked amazing. But we had to figure out how to you know work with the platform and also how to do little tips and tricks on how to make things actually bend the rules so that it actually works better for you. And there's a lot of really fun tricks that we learned making this game in particular. And I think the biggest part of it was finding the right people to do the job. And we have a ton of people working in our interactive space here at Sawhorse. We have a lot of little smaller teams. And it was finding the right people, the specialists that, worked with nature and they know everything about nature and how to make it more performant on the
Mm.
platform. Because when you're working with like a billion leaves, it is a billion leaves. So it's like, how do we make that how do we make that thing that you can put on every device? And it's trying the device is trying to calculate light and shadows and the way things work together, and everything is a performance hit. So you have to figure out what's the smallest amount that's like the most high quality that you can do in every space. And sometimes that's turning off all of the shadows on little bushes and stuff, or like one thing we did for this one, which is amazing, is one of our artists figured out how to not only use a polygon, which is, used for our building, but to put all the information of that like rectangular or like square rectangular space onto one triangle. So it's like literally building with, I don't know, it's hard to explain that you're like almost tricking the computer into thinking there's more information there
That
than it
is.
is. And
Yeah.
I wish I could visualize that for you, but it's we did some pretty crazy magic on this one.
And I think it really shows. Like, I think by far, like the first thing that I've noticed when you go into the experience is, again, like what struck me was the level of shadowing that like we rarely see inside those platform, like those experiences on Roblox. The like reflection of in the sea of the sun. Like there's so many level of detail, and I think it's really exciting to see how you are pushing the creative within the platform. And I think something that you have like brands have to remember is that the audience is very, not, I wouldn't say tricky, but they're expecting a lot. And I wonder as well with all of the, I guess, creative concepts that you're doing and the art direction of these experiences in your world, like what are the key insight that you always bear in mind when you're building for Roblox audiences? What are those key things in the back of your mind that has to be taked to make sure that the audience resonates well beyond just the aesthetic of it?
I think it's the most important thing to immerse yourself into the culture. And if you're not part of that culture, they'll know that. And I think you have to just go full in and and like consume what they're consuming. And, when you see advertising on the platform, really analyze what it is and how obtuse it is in the space. And are there things that seem, I don't know, icky about it in a way of just like, is this too much advertising in your face? Because a lot of this is like escaping from traditional. Like people on the platform are the people that play Roblox are expecting either what they've known growing up on the platform or wanting to escape everything that's off the platform. So they come here for a specific reason, and it is to escape tradition. And some people have grown up on the platform and they know that they'd rather be here than somewhere else.
Yeah, that's a great point. I want to take one step back and ask a broader question here for a second. How important do you think art is in advertising? And why do you think so many ads and commercials want to work with the best creatives to get their messages out?
You have to really stand out from everything that has been created, and that's what everyone else is trying to do. So you really have to be this different thing. And so you have to surround yourself with like really talented people that are thinking the same way, but also are thinking in, you know, crazy different directions, and just like rallying all the people that you love working with together.
I fully agree with you where, in traditional, so what you say before on traditional advertising, like the ad is coming at you and is always coming from a place of lack of imagine of what you could get if you were to buy this, etc. But obviously this, like, a lot of advertising for brands is because they want to launch a service, a product, and push that. And I think when you are going on this platform, you need, as you mentioned, to be a lot more immersive and more fun, and like the output has to be more entertaining. So how, I guess, you talked about the Roblox users, you talk about the teams that you're working with to be fully immersed within the platform. How do you balance still the objective of a brand, which is still to, advertise around a product, but still respect the platform user behavior. So like, what has been your when you are coming up with this concept, like what's your key balance between the two?
I think I've been fortunate enough to work with brands that excite me and are genuinely like fun to like surround yourself with. Our first client was Aloe, and that was a huge, uh, wonderful world. They already had the designs, and the art was already there, and it was beautiful, and the idea behind it was so amazing. And since then, we've had nothing but just awesome brands to work with, and they have their own user story, which is or their own brand story, which is always like coming from a great place, and also they want to have fun in the space as well. So it's finding that fun of like what the advertisement is and why you should be having fun. Fun is not really like a focus on traditional advertisement of like how can we get these guys to play. It's more like how can we get these guys to buy. I think this is a completely different thing, and it's just you get when you get in the headspace of how can we get them to have more fun. It's a completely different feeling, and I think you always end up in a good spot.
I love that. Yeah, I think we've all been on calls with clients from marketing teams that are building something on Roblox for the first time. It may be the first gamified experience that they've done, and it is so much fun. Like that's the word. You can underline it. It's like everyone's leaning in, being like, "Oh, that's so cute. That's fun. That's different." And I think it's not intuitive for them a lot of the time. So it's exciting to see more of that.
These are big brands too, and people have connected with them before, and it's just finding those sparks like that people have connected with and showing them like this brand is amazing. Like look at all the things that they have to offer, and with films and stuff, it's like y- the world is huge and vast, and when you see the movie, you're only there for like a couple of minutes in a scene, but when you're in the game, you're like in the game. Like you're in that world. Seeing those characters, you're fighting those villains. It's really exciting.
Yeah. You're interesting because, you were not a native Roblox player or builder at all, and you came in from scratch, bringing your other disciplines, and you've kind of grown over time. What advice would you give to non-Roblox creatives that are looking to get into this space?
Start now. I would say as soon as possible, just start. You'll realize if you like it or not, but also it takes a lot of time to learn everything on the platform. I feel like every week I've grown like immensely in just like the knowledge and like how I can make things better, and especially in the performance realm. I know we've covered that a lot, but that is a huge thing that
Mm.
has huge payoffs. So yeah, I would say start early, start super early, because you're gonna fail in different areas, and you have to get past that and learn the lessons you need to know. And also, if you're trying to start out, I would find somebody in the space. It's probably pretty easy to find someone who's working or on Roblox in some capacity of just like build props, or I build UGC, or ask people. Roblox is so social. You'll find a lot of platforms just talking about creating things, and if you look up tutorials or any social media on the subject of creating, there's tons of people there and willing to share their knowledge and wanting to make something. They're makers, and they build stuff all the time, and you'll find out if you're the same way.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think it's such an exciting community of creative that just want to share tips on how to create something and like continue to evolve the content that you have on the platform. I guess in a similar vein to Nick's question, but for the brand side, what are the tips and like how? Because obviously creating a brief for a virtual world on Roblox is very different to an ad campaign. So you talked about Aloe that already had everything prepared. Like what is your recommendation to a brand that's like thinking about going on Roblox and they're about to brief a team like yourself? Like what would be the request or the ask, like things that they need to think about when they are thinking creatively, like on their creative brief?
Trust the people with a lot of experience. We want to help, and we want to make your story shine. So just really think about what is your brand's story? Why does it mean so much to you? And why should other people be excited about it? And we will help you the rest of the way, because once we understand that, we can visualize it.
Right on. So, what about other UGC gaming platforms with higher art fidelity like Fortnite? Do you have any interest in building there? And I guess why such a heavy emphasis on Roblox right now?
I love Roblox. I don't know. I definitely want to open myself up to these higher fidelity platforms because we are actually in the space currently. We have certain teams in Sawhorse that are doing things on Fortnite and on the Unreal platform, and it's just an Unreal Engine is like it's so exciting to see just like things being made in there because it just looks you can't tell it's a video game. It just looks like you don't know what it is. It's just exciting to look at. And yeah, it's just like unbelievable what you can do on mobile devices as well. People are playing this on their phones and I don't know how they're doing it, but it's exciting to do something in that space. But there's a special I don't know, my heart kind of beats for Roblox because it feels fun. It's just a fun uh it feels more fun than trying to create um elaborate scenes that are I feel like you can make more of an impact on the Roblox platform because I do like high fidelity and I think we can do it here, and I don't know, it's just more fun.
Yeah. Sounds like it's more of an attachment for a lot of developers around the community that they're building for. Like you are putting out an art form. And the thing is just the reaction of the community maybe on Roblox is more accepting to different kind of content. So there's a bit more of an excitement to build differently. So I guess, the last question I've got was like, what is next for you? So still really excited on the Roblox platform. Is there any kind of changes, breakthrough that you would like to see within those virtual world platform, Roblox, but other platforms included?
Of course, yeah. I think Nick and I are really into VR and like the next like frontier of uh I say next frontier, but we've had VR for a long time. But I feel like it's something that hasn't been tapped fully. And VR and AR are when done like how I've experienced it recently, it can be I can see a huge potential for like something we haven't experienced before. That is like the next stage of what this is, and it's all bringing together what we experience in Roblox and gaming and UGC, you know, worlds. But like, I think it's kind of all coming together into a place where it's hard to distinguish what's real and what's not. And I think once you get there and you kind of are okay with it, um, the possibilities just get crazy with it because I've only experienced like one time like full immersion into the bad word now metaverse. I think but being in a different spot with other people experiencing something you couldn't experience in real life is I just felt like, oh, this is new. This is like something I've never experienced and I like it, and it's like something I want to do more of.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about VR and I'm hoping that it's we can figure out all of the hardware for it so that it's easier to have and to use. But yeah, I felt like a spark that I've never felt before, and I really like it with VR.
Yeah, well, it's exciting to see everything that you have built, Gino, and all the things that you are going to build, and all the new technologies and new platforms that we're going to leverage to tell stories as creatives. It's just an amazing time. But we just want to thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to chat with us and kind of share your insights on art and the Roblox platform. And yeah, we just really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Gino.
Yeah, thank you and Sawhorse for having me this many years, and it's just been one thing, building and building and building, and I'm excited for the future.
100%. Later.
Well, that was a great interview with Gino. Thank you so much, Nick, for allowing us to speak, to your creative team. I know they have the secret sauce to making a great experience. So really appreciate for them to join us as well. I think my key takeaway, especially coming with the background that Gino had, creating different kind of content, not just immersive. It was just really interesting how he had to adapt his creative mindset to the way that people are consuming content in this platform. And I mean, the amount of like narrative that you need to have involved as opposed to when you're creating just organic content for Instagram. There's a lot more obviously that goes into it. It is really like creating a semi film. So I just thought it was like really special to be able to speak to him and learn a little bit more about that shift in mindset when you are creating on platform like Roblox.
Yeah, he's a master at that. And I think what I resonated with a lot is just really the importance of good art inside of games. And I feel like often on UGC gaming platforms like Roblox, especially, a lot of amazing devs don't put a lot of emphasis on art. They can make a game that's super fun on a simple base plate and it still will perform well. But I think there's no reason not to add push art to the max the same way you're pushing game design to the max.
Yeah.
And I feel like I would want to see more studios raise the bar on Roblox and take that art fidelity and push the limits because that's what we're doing at Sawhorse, and I want to see more people do that as well.
Yeah, and I think it's also really tailored when you have a client that is so adamant, and the same for like luxury brands. They are obviously very cautious about how their brands are being visualized. So it's just really exciting to see studios are pushing a little bit like what you can do within those platforms because that's how the platforms evolve, and also that's how different kind of content gain traction and virality. And I think it takes the same as like Instagram, YouTube, and other social media platform. It takes specific creator to push the envelope, and then just like the rest will follow. And it really makes the platform evolves essentially.
Yep, I could not agree more.
Now,
But
what is your played out this week?
what is played out?
You go first. What is your played out this week?
For played out for me, and I don't want to be a hater. I want us to keep a positive attitude,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like there's a lot of IP out there that continues to add seasons onto it and really milk it, and it just sort of goes downhill. And I have to be honest, I have not been loving The Last of Us season 2. I really wanted to like it a lot more than I did. I did not play the game, so I didn't know what was coming. But I feel like that relationship between the two main characters in season 1, now that that is lost in season 2, kind of threw me for a loop. And, I've been a little disappointed, to be honest. And I know we're talking a lot this episode about Squid Game. It comes out today, and so I'm excited to watch it over the weekend. But I did not love that cliffhanger. I feel like like season 2 and 3 is actually season 2, and they just like
Yeah.
broke it up in the middle, and I feel
Honest,
like
that's
I
what
just
happened.
hope they can bring it home because I love season 1, and I just don't want to be disappointed in this.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it could have been called like part one, part two. I mean, they shot it together, so it was impossible for it otherwise to come in back to back like this. So they shot it obviously back to back. But I see what you mean. Where I think it's the issue with the entertainment industry at the moment, where it's so expensive at the moment to release new IP that it's very rare that the studios are taking a lot of risk because they just want to milk what works because it's so expensive to build. And this is where maybe there's an opportunity with those new platform. Maybe my perception is a bit hinted, but there's an opportunity with those new platform to test new IP. It costs less to launch an IP on Roblox than creating a whole film. So why not test it on, virtual worlds to see how it reacts? And then you can create a film out of it. I'm more interested on like the other way around where like test first on those new virtual platform and before you launch the game as opposed to recreating IP and just like rehashing it into a different format.
I love that thinking, and I think we're gonna see a lot more of that as
Yeah.
more and more of these studios start to build
I
and have a
mean,
presence.
this is your focus group, right? Like Roblox, Fortnite, they're like they are exactly the target audience. So you don't have a better focus group than these guys. So my played out this week is, I think I'm just like being very impatient and a millennial here, but I'm just really like, I just can't wait for Fortnite to be in the UK. I know they've announced it. I know it's coming in the UK. I know it's coming also in Japan, but I'm just really like, anxious of when is it coming on mobile for us, because this is really going to like change my relationship with the game, where I will be able to have like longer, like more frequent sessions with the IP, where right now I'm still stuck to weekends on my desktop. So I'm just a little bit jealous of the US, where you have it back on iOS. So I'm just, that is my played out. Like, why did we have to leave the EU? Because the rest of Europe has it. So the UK is the only one in Europe that doesn't have it. And then when is it coming? I'm just excited. So I
That's fair.
when it's coming. That's it.
That's fair. I think waiting in general is played out. I hate
Yeah.
waiting for stuff, especially, GTA 6. Everyone's so hyped and they're like, it's going to be amazing, guys, but it's going to be one more year.
Yeah.
That's like, what?
Oh well.
So I
I'm
feel
just
you.
yeah. And that is it for the week. That was an amazing episode. Thank you so much again for Gino for joining us on this episode.
100%. We'll see you guys next week. Edward, please read us out.
And that was Brands in Play. Thank you for joining the podcast where we explore immersive marketing and the people who are leading it. Co-hosted by Albane, Prioux, and Nick Hill. Our show today was produced by myself, Edu Regu, with creative direction by Joey Jeddah and Javad Kazmi, and audio engineering by Somran Kiyo. Be sure to join us every week for brand new episodes.
The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed in this podcast are solely those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the views, policies, or positions of host employers. The information shared during this podcast is based on personal experience